Hello everyone, I am Krooked, and this is Unscripted, the series where I take a completely unscripted look at games and give them 1 through 10 rating. Today, we are playing Harvest Moon. This is the Super Nintendo version, but I am playing on the Nintendo Switch Online service. This is a game that I've wanted to review for quite some time. I just haven't had the time to get around to it, because there were other things to cover. So what Harvest Moon is, to put it in the most simple terms that everyone today should probably understand, it's Stardew Valley. That's the easiest way to put it. In reality, this is the game that got Stardew Valley being a thing. It's a farming simulator that allows you to raise animals and grow a farm. And it is a franchise that took off in such a remarkable way that I don't think most people expected it to. And it's a magical game. So when you start out, they basically have you go through and talk to everyone, so that way you can kind of learn your way around the city. Not even a city, a little town that you're in. And you go through, and it doesn't tell you very much other than you're a farmer and you're on a farm. Graphically, for the Super Nintendo, this looks like a lot of the top-down RPGs, but I think it's actually a step up from, say, Final Fantasy. Maybe not as good-looking as Chrono Trigger, but it's a really good-looking game. The tile sets that they used here are all pretty remarkable, and you can kind of tell that they put a lot of work into it. You can tell which buildings are which. This one looks like a restaurant. This has a hammer here and it has a chicken on the top. You can assume that that's probably for a farm. I mean, you spoke to him, so of course. Yeah. It's really, really cool. I have to talk to more people before it will let me out. So this is kind of the tutorial, it has you go through, talk to everyone, and it builds the story. It tells you why you're here. You're here without your parents. You're building a farm. You find out that it's because your grandfather left you the farm and said, oh, hey, yeah, this is yours. Go ahead and raise it. Or go ahead and, build up the farm. And that's your whole goal. You're building up a farm that your grandfather left you, exactly like what Stardew Valley's is, because Stardew Valley is probably the closest game in recent history to the original Harvest Moon. So following this game, there were Harvest Moon games for the PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, the Game Boy, every handheld system you can imagine. I think every system has had a Harvest Moon game. They're now called Story of Seasons, though. So if you're wondering what happened, in Japan, Harvest Moon was originally called Story of Seasons, and then when it came to the US, they changed it to Harvest Moon. That license expired. The company that makes Harvest Moon, this type of Harvest Moon, is now making Story of Seasons games, which retain their original name. In Harvest Moon today is the company that did the licensing for America took over that namesake. So, for all intents and purposes, this is technically Story of Seasons. So enough about the history of everything. Let's talk about this game a bit more. The sound. There's so many unique soundtracks. And there's so many unique sounds. And it's all very calming and enjoyable to listen to when you get down to it. Because, this is like upbeat, walking around town. If it's rainy weather, the weather sounds like it's rainy weather. If it's sunny weather, it sounds like it's sunny weather. Like, this sounds like a happy, sunny day. I did listen to the villagers a bit more. I don't know Who else I haven't talked to? Maybe in here? No. I don't believe that's them. Oh, I have to go in the back rooms? Oh, yeah, I already went in that one. I need to go in the back rooms for the others. So, the tutorial clearly can be a bit frustrating because I'm like, okay, I just want to get on with the game, but I have to go talk to all these people and find all these people, and it's a little frustrating to get through, but it's such a happy and just joyful time. So, I have a unique history with Harvest Moon because my first Harvest Moon game wasn't actually Harvest Moon. Back in the 90s, your town just didn't get copies of a game. You just didn't get copies of a game. And buying it, you couldn't just go on the internet and buy it. You had to either mail order it, which some companies offered. If you had the right magazine, you could send out a slip and check, and they would send you a copy of their game. Not all companies did that, though. And it created a problem because if you wanted certain games, you just could not get them. So where I lived, we never had stores that sold Harvest Moon, and we didn't have any stores that rented out Harvest Moon because they never got the copies. So we got put into a situation where if we wanted to play this game, we had to basically emulate it, except back when this was popular, emulation wasn't a thing. So I didn't play this original Harvest Moon until a few years ago, and even then I haven't played very much of it. For its sequels, I played those a lot, but I had a Nintendo Power, which was a magazine that came out in the 80s and went until, I believe, the late 2000s. And it basically just had a bunch of tips, tricks, and stuff for Nintendo and different reviews and things like that. So I had one that talked about Harvest Moon, and I searched every store. We called stores, we went in, we did everything. And never found it. And it broke my heart. But then I ended up getting Harvest Moon for the PlayStation. Harvest Moon Back to Nature, and that changed everything because I now had Harvest Moon. And I could play it and enjoy it, and it changed everything. It's one of my favorite games. I also have Harvest Moon 64, which, again, I got that for my birthday one year, and that also massively changed my life because Harvest Moon. So, okay, I have now talked to absolutely everyone. I want to get through here. I don't have any more listening I can do. I don't know. Okay, so, I just realized I need to talk to this guy. Okay. Now that I've talked to absolutely everyone here, I should be able to move on, and we should see what's going on. So, from here, let me go over and talk to this guy, and yes, I'm going back to the ranch. Jeez. Okay, so that's the guy that ships things. So now, that we're going back to the ranch, I can show you what this gameplay is like. Alright, so I'm at my house, and apparently I'm going to bed. All right, there we go. So, new day, fresh, ate an onigiri. Let's go. All right, so now I'm going out to the farm, and I believe it's going to be more tutorial. No? Oh, yep, it is. Cora, wait! So it's a doggo. Okay, so this little kid comes over and basically goes, hey, I have this dog, but my family won't let me keep it, so, you keep it. I'm gonna call it Woof, for a lack of a better name. That's my dog, its name is Woof. So, you get a dog, you get horses. Later on, you can get, like, chickens and, cows. Let's see. So, there's the stable. There's a shed somewhere. I think here's the shed. Yeah. That actually looks more like a chicken coop than a shed. Which would make sense. Which would make this the shed. Yeah. Alright, so you can go pick up your tools. You can only have 2 at a time. Okay. And then pick that up. Perfect. So, you're limited to 2 tools at a time, and you come out here, and you have to... Oh no, I just wasted all those seeds! I'm gonna use this nifty little rewind ability that the Switch has. And... Alright, so you want to switch to your hoe first, but you basically go down and you work out crops. In the older Harvestman games, you actually want to leave the middle crop open, so that way when you sow seeds, it does that. And if you don't leave the middle one open, well, you won't get to plant in that spot, and it's really frustrating when that happens. Or you can plant there, but you can't water there, and it's really frustrating when that happens because you're like, I just wanted to water my seeds, and now the one in the middle is going to die, so it's a waste of money. And yeah, and this is 90% of the gameplay. You basically run, you water things, and then when you're out of actions to do for that day, well, you go sleep. You end up getting chickens, and you end up being able to... I don't know, fill my water. Huh. You end up getting eggs, and then you get cows and pigs in some of the games, and it's just constant growing a farm. And honestly, it's one of the best games there is if you just want a relaxing game that you get to enjoy and kind of just live your life on. Apparently it's lunchtime because I just ate again. In some of the older games, you had to like water your crops multiple times per day because it would get hot and it'd be all bad. I can't actually see if these are watered or not. This is... In later games, you can see if they're watered or not, too. So, after you do that, you go and you sleep. There's a TV there. The TV's really, really cool. Much like in Stardew Valley, you go to the TV and it tells you the news. So sunny and calm for the whole day, and there you go. The biggest difference between this and Stardew Valley is your crops will die if they're not taken care of, and your animals will also die if they're not taken care of. So it's stuff that you really have to keep an eye on, and it's a lot more difficult than Stardew. But it's a really fun time, and honestly, if you're looking for something to like scratch that Stardew Valley itch and you don't want to really buy one of the later games because you're not sure if you'll like it, check out Harvest Moon on the Nintendo Switch Online. And I think you might enjoy this if you like Stardew Valley. So with all that being said, This game does have a few problems that the later ones fix, and it's a little frustrating at the beginning. Not everyone is going to like it, but I do think with how much relaxation you can get from it, most people can at least enjoy it for what it is. I'm going to go ahead and give Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo a 7 out of 10. And yeah, if you like this video or if you just like farming, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe so that way you don't miss out on an episode of Unscripted. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll always be notified when a new episode comes out, although it is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And other than that, if you want to support the channel more, go ahead and check out my Patreon. Link is in the description down below. And thank you so much for watching Unscripted, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!